Today I'm going to be featuring a subject close to my heart, motorcycle security. Just to make it clear before we start, I'm not paid or sponsored by any manufacturer or company that I refer to here. They simply get a mention due to my own experience with them, excellent reviews they receive in the motorcycle press, and from bikers in general. With ever more congested roads and spiralling costs of public transport, there's an increasing number of people venturing out on two wheels to get around. Of course, there's also those who have been biking for some time and know the sense of fun and freedom that even a seemingly mundane journey can generate. Biking is great, period. But there is an ever-present storm cloud hanging over all of us, the absolutely endemic spectre of motorbike theft. So, you love your two-wheeled steed, but how best can you protect it? Firstly, let's just address the elephant in the room. No matter how much you spend and how much care and attention you lavish on your motorcycle security, your beloved bike will never be completely safe from theft. It isn't unknown for bike thieves to travel in a small group with escorting scooters and a van, equipped with massive bolt croppers, industrial angle grinders, lock freezing spray, sledgehammers and even scaffold poles to go through your wheels, enabling four vermin to pick your bike up, locks intact and alarm sounding, and put it in the back of their foil-lined van. That suppresses not just the noise of the alarm, but the signal from your tracking device. 2 or 3 of these pond life act as protection and threaten, often with weapons, anyone that dares to challenge them. They happily operate in broad daylight, in crowded areas, concealed behind the anonymity of the obligatory bandana and hooded top, and endowed with all the bravado that working in a feral pack provides. However, there's a whole lot you can do to make stealing your bike just too much work for your average thieving scumbag. When you're out and about, the mission is to make your bike far less an attractive target than the other motorbikes around it. Try to park your bike at bike stands or dedicated parking areas where there's a choice of prey for the criminally minded. Find somewhere well lit and, if possible, in a busy public area. Even better, somewhere where you have a direct line of sight to your bike, although I appreciate that's rarely possible. For the best chance of your beloved being where you left it when you return, use a layered approach to security. A good quality alarm system is always a good idea, but mainly serves now just to make thieves nervous while they're going about the job of getting your bike in the van. Hopefully, the alarm will draw attention to the thieves and make them abort their attack. If possible, park your bike where you will actually hear the alarm. Many tests have shown that the average member of the public will ignore a vehicle alarm, as they are simply just too common these days. Many alarms now come with a text notification system that messages you in the event of activation. It's a great idea, but if you'd take over 3 minutes to get to your bike from the time of the notification, then this may not be worth the outlay, as by the time you arrived at wherever you'd parked, you'll be just in time to pick up the broken bits of your steering lock and your neatly cut chain. Tracking devices are essential for high-cost sports bikes. A relatively new sports bike is like crack cocaine to an addict, and statistically, the chance of it remaining in your possession for any length of time is minimal. Sorry. I know a friend whose Yamaha R1 has been stolen 4 times in the last 3 years, but thanks to a decent tracking device, it's been recovered every time. One thing to consider is do not put a sticker on your Pride and Joy saying that it is fitted with a tracking device. Your bike will still get stolen, but thieves will quickly tear it apart to get to the tracker and harvest the most desirable parts before you can locate it, so there can be no happy ending. One thing that does deter even the sports bike removal artists is security marking and tagging systems. There's several good kits out there, but I've used Selector Mark in the past and found it to be a fantastically cost-effective and undetectable way to protect your kit. In this case, please do cover your bike in warning stickers, as the thought of your bike's key parts being invisibly marked and completely unsellable is enough to put off many thieves. Selector DNA consists of a parts etching system and a unique formula of DNA, UV tracer and microdots, which can invisibly and permanently be applied to your bike in numerous places, making the bike and its parts instantly identifiable to police, as each system uses a unique DNA. Each kit currently costs a shade under £70, including VAT, and includes lifetime registration on the Secure Asset Register. It's money well spent, I think. Never forget, wherever you park your bike, use the built-in steering lock. It's a no-brainer really, but you'd be surprised how many just don't bother to check that it's engaged. Yes, most locks can be smashed in seconds, but those extra seconds may just make the difference between taking your bike and a thief deciding it's all taking too long and looking elsewhere. When out shopping for physical security kit for your bike, have a look for products displaying the Sold Secure sticker. Sold Secure is a UK organisation that tests security devices to destruction, and the items it recommends are pretty much always going to be quality. When away from home, always use a good disc brake lock, at the absolute minimum. A disc lock with a built-in alarm is even better. Better still, put a lock on the front and one on the rear wheel. These simply stop the wheels rolling and make theft of your bike by smashing the steering lock and rolling it away impossible. Your bike can still be carried into a van by 2 or 3 people, however, so a disc lock is not going to stop the organised or determined thief. Disc locks are not created equal, however. Some can be defeated with a quick hit from a hammer, as they're made from cheap and brittle metal. Also, avoid, like the plague, any locks you see using the old barrel-style locking cylinder. Why? Just have a look on YouTube for these locks being defeated in seconds using the body of a cheap plastic biro pen with the ink reservoir removed. It's frightening. There are some excellent manufacturers out there. I recommend having a look at Abbas, Oxford and Covix. They'd probably be my go-to brands. And generally you get what you pay for, with top alarmed brake disc locks costing upwards of £120 or so. It would also help if you use a different type of lock on the front and rear wheels. Some thieves go equipped to deal with certain types of locks, so mixing maybe a shackle type lock on the front wheel and a rounded case type lock on the back causes them a headache. Shackle or U-locks may be susceptible to attack with an angle grinder, whereas a round type lock would just spin in place. Please use a disc lock reminder cable linking your lock to the handlebar. There's nothing more embarrassing than jumping on your bike, checking in the mirror to make sure you look cool, blipping the throttle, dumping the clutch and falling over. If you're lucky, you'll just feel like a twit. If you're unlucky, you'll bend the disc or break something when it hits the deck, possibly your leg. When out and about, a good chain and padlock is highly recommended. It's hard to strike a decent balance between portability and good security, especially as you'll need a chain long enough to wrap around, ideally, part of your bike's frame and a lamppost. You'll probably need a chain that's at least 1.5 meters long and has a decent soft sleeve to avoid it scratching your bike's paintwork. If you're riding with friends, chain your bikes together. Not only good security, but it sends a signal to thieves that they face the wrath of more than one angry biker if they get busted in the act. Realistically, chains with links bigger than about 13mm in diameter are going to be too big and heavy to carry on your bike. Please don't be tempted to drape the thing over your shoulder for ease of transportation. In the event of an accident, the extra weight and awkwardness of a lock and chain is likely to damage internal organs that don't take kindly to impacts, or dislocate important and useful body parts. For portable security chains, some good manufacturers to look at are Oxford, Mammoth, Squire, Milenko, Lightlock, which is a really clever looking new piece of kit I'm going to have to review at some stage, English Chain, and Gear Gremlin. No doubt to the surprise of many, I haven't mentioned Abbas here. Although their stuff is absolutely excellent quality, it is just too expensive and performs not significantly better than far cheaper rivals. A quick look at YouTube will confirm this. A good quality portable chain and lock is going to probably set you back between £80 and £120. I've found eBay a useful source of unwanted motorbike security gifts in the past. Just check that the item is unused, genuine, so check the seller feedback, and the right price. If you're canny, you can sometimes save 50% or more off of retail prices with a bit of clever shopping. Possibly controversially, I'm not going to recommend any large U-lock or shackle lock. I just don't feel that they give sufficient security for the size and sometimes difficulty in transporting. Nor am I going to bother looking at motorcycle brake lever locks. These things are quite new, and the ones I've seen so far tend to be made out of cream cheese and have locks that are so poor they can be defeated by sternly shouting at them. Well, you know what I mean. So, how should you transport this security kit? Well, I strongly recommend using a tail pack of some kind, safely strapped to the passenger seat. Putting hard and heavy objects into a backpack is a recipe for disaster and may cause serious spinal damage if you come off. A heavy chain and a couple of disc locks will probably be too heavy for the rating of your top box and would probably make the bike too top heavy and too light at the steering. A tank bag holding this much weight is likely to scratch or damage your tank, and it isn't the most secure solution. A tail pack, however, sighted low behind the rider, has a decent capacity, no real weight restriction issues, and can be securely mounted. Some chain manufacturers even sell their own tail packs. So, you've parked up your alarmed, security marked and satellite tracked bike. You've engaged the steering lock and you've fitted an alarm disc lock on the front wheel and another on the back. You've got a chain through your rear wheel and around a lamppost and secured it so it doesn't touch the floor. That makes it harder to be attacked by a sledgehammer or an angle grinder. So, you've done all you can to keep your bike safe. Well, no. You cannot ever overemphasize the importance of a simple motorcycle cover. If a villain cannot see how fantastic your bike is, they'll probably find one elsewhere that fits the bill, especially if your cover completely hides your wheels and tyres. Although they may be quite big and bulky, they can be safely carried in a backpack without risk of injury to yourself in the event of a spill. Another thing to consider, a bike cover may be the only thing that I'm happy to get dirty and worn. After all, who puts a dirty old cover over an expensive bike, right? I even know a chap who leaves a new bike cover out in the garden for a couple of weeks before using it, just so it doesn't scream about how expensive its contents may be. When you get your bike home, that's when you can really get serious about security. Now, before I go on about all things that cost a bomb to buy, remember that as a simple rule of thumb, the more expensive and desirable your bike, the more nickable it is, and subsequently the more you need to spend on security. You need to strike a balance between risk and cost. Unless you're completely minted, of course, then just go out and buy the best kit available. Ideally, lock your bike in a garage. No garage? Have you space in the garden, ideally away from prying eyes, where you can install a ground anchor. Ground anchors are fantastic pieces of kit and come in many shapes and sizes, but the strongest and most effective are those that need to be concreted into the ground. You can also get types that can be flush mounted to floors and even walls in some cases. These tend to be secured with very long and strong bolts. Then the bolts are covered or obscured in a way that does not allow removal. You can then secure your pride and joy to the ground with a choice of very, very big security chains, way beyond anything that's portable. These chains can have lengths of 19 or even 22 or more millimeters and require use of very expensive and sometimes specialist locks. Make sure that your ground anchor is big enough to allow one of these behemoth chains to be used before you spend out on either. This level of security is reflected in the price, with chain and lock combinations sometimes costing several £100s. In this category, look at chains from Pragmasis, Almax and Oxford. They will also require high-end locks from companies like Squire, Abloy and Oxford. If you have a garage, get it fitted with an alarm. Unusually, this does not have to be an expensive operation. I use a battery-operated system with a PIR unit in the garage, with one base unit set as a very loud siren, and one indoors set to chime if the garage alarm is triggered, all connected wirelessly and all costing less than £100. So, your bike is in the garage, secured to a ground anchor, with a chain that you could tether a cruise liner to a dock with. You still use your disc locks on your parked bike, as it's all about buying time, and it's covered up. You have an effective garage alarm, so what next? There are things you can do inside and outside of your garage to help keep thieves out and your motorcycle in. Outside the garage, and suitable for up and over type garage doors, you can install one of a range of devices designed to immobilize the door, normally preventing it swinging outwards until the lock is undone and restraining bar removed. Inside, for the most extreme security, you can now get internal gates, which sit at maybe 2 feet above the ground and are secured with top security locks. These gates are too high to lift a bike over and too low to easily get one under. It's not a cheap security solution, but if you're lucky enough to have more than one bike, it's definitely something to think about. Also, I haven't mentioned any form of CCTV. CCTV is no deterrent to a determined bike thief, and as police don't have the resources to use this sort of evidence to investigate vehicle theft anymore, it would only serve as a sad reminder of your bike's fond farewell. What did I use for my last bike when out and about? Selector DNA bike marking, tracking device, I'm not telling you, Abbas 8077 alarmed disc lock on the front, with an Oxford Big Boss alarmed disc lock on the back wheel. I had a 2 metre Oxford hardcore chain with a monster padlock to attach my beloved to anything immobile, and a very manky old green bike cover that someone gave me a decade or so ago to keep it hidden. So, I hope this gives you some ideas. Most importantly, ride safe. Before I sign off, here's a quick security industry news roundup, taken from the Twitter feed of TPSO Magazine's Michael O'Sullivan and from recent Twitter security news. Right, if you haven't signed already, please take a look at the call for a new Security Workers Act to help reduce the endemic levels of assaults against security officers in the UK. The petition is live on the UK government's website, and for more information visit www.workingthedoors.co.uk/the-security-workers-act. Basically, you'll find it on the Working the Doors website. There's a lot more there besides as well, so it's well worth a visit. The SIA has released some transparency data recently on their website, looking at expense claims by the chair and non-executive directors for 2021 to 2022. It all looks fairly restrained, although one name does stand out from the rest. Check it out at gov.uk/SIA-non-executive-director-expenses. There's also a lot of interesting information published by the SIA on the gov.uk website as a result of Freedom of Information Act requests. Highlighting some of these interesting statistics for 2021 are Working the Doors again. Check out their website. The popular Core Security Intelligence Update, Core Relay, has just released its January 2022 edition. It's free and packed with analysis of current international security issues. Find this and a lot more on their website, coresecurity.co.uk. The American Security magazine has just launched its search for female security leaders for this year's Women in Security Award. For my friends across the pond, get nominating. Visit securitymagazine.com for more information. For all my international physical security friends and colleagues, the next issue of TPSO magazine is out next week with a new look and a new editor. It's stronger than ever. Keep an eye on the website at theprofessionalsecurityofficer.com for the latest edition of its huge free online resource. Lastly, I've had a look at LinkedIn for my pick of the most recently added job vacancies at all levels of the sector. Firstly, and this does sound interesting, an organisation called The Other House, which is a new club, hotel, hospitality venue in London, is looking for a director of security. They're offering between 40 to 50k per annum, and you can find the job on LinkedIn or visit their website at otherhouse.com. If you're a frontline security officer and a retail specialist, there's several Asda supermarkets looking for security officers right now. Dover, Thornaby-on-Tees, Hull and Stockport, to name but a few. ISS Facility Services are looking for a security manager based in Slough. Looks interesting, find them on their website. Also exciting, Merlin Entertainment, who are the people behind Thorpe Park and numerous global venues, are looking for a global head of security. It's going to be UK based but with a lot of travelling, and applications close on the 24th of January. So you better be quick. See their website for more information at merlinentertainment.biz. OCS Group also have a great reputation and are looking for corporate security officers in the Leeds area. Go to their website and check it out. Give it a Google search, you'll find it easily. And finally, Bold Security Group is looking for security officers for roles on prestigious sites across Kent. If you live in the area, please drop them an email at hr@boldSecurity.co.uk for more information. Right, that's it for the first edition. Did you find something a bit strange in this video? Let me know in the comments what it was and the timestamp, and the first to get it right will be pinned to the top of the comments board. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram and LinkedIn, so please connect and say hello. In the meantime, be safe and see you soon.